Hey Yagaho guys, welcome back for stage 3 of Liliana's campaign. Last time we actually planeswalked to Innistrad and we went into a hermit witch's house and beat up her pet elk and took it for our own. So now we are on our way back into Dominaria, hoping to get in and ambush the Raven Man or something, but here's this nice archangel here, and ordinarily I like to play blue and white, so the angels are my friends, but right now we're playing black, we're being Liliana, so angels don't take kindly to the necromancy type sort of thing, so there's gotta be a little altercation right here, and we'll have to see if we can come out on top. This, in my opinion, is the toughest stage of Liliana's campaign, so let's see what we got. We got a couple of good cards. We got a Cruel Revival, which is good because this deck that we're going to fight against has a couple of gnarly creatures. We got that Altar's Reap, which will let me draw some cards. And here's a new guy we haven't seen before, Butcher Ghoul. So he has a really nice ability called Undying. He seems a little bit overcosted, right? 2 for just a 1/1. But when he dies, he comes back, and he comes back stronger. He only gets to do that if he doesn't already have the +1/+1 counter on him. So generally you only get to do it once unless you're able to move the counters around. But this looks like an okay hand, especially since, as aforementioned, typically in campaign mode, because you don't get to design your own deck, there's not really much you can do about it except for expect that you're going to draw quite a bit of land and take your opening hands accordingly. So we actually still have not had to mulligan at all, so I haven't got to explain that, but surely at some point during this campaign I'll get to go into what the mulligans are. But for now, we don't need to explain it because I haven't done it yet. So playing some land, see if something comes down. And Glory Seeker comes down. That's just the 2/2 vanilla. So he doesn't have any special abilities. He's just a 2/2. So fair enough, I guess. Alright, put down our second land, and I kind of want to go ahead and get Shambling Ghoul out there. I will go ahead and get, actually we could get Butcher Ghoul. Let's go ahead and get Shambling Ghoul. He's pretty good against 2/2s. Won't be able to block right now, but we'll go ahead and attack with the Goblin and see if he wants to make that trade. Which I do want to get a zombie in my discard pile, so we can use Cruel Revival's secondary effect. Looks like he doesn't want to make the trade, so that's fine. Probably going to swing in here. Not going to swing in here. So even though I didn't have anything to block with, he just values that guy on defense more right now, which is fair enough. And that thing's got an ability where when it comes in, it gets to tap somebody. So what you would ideally like to do with it is play it main phase 1 and tap something they wanted to block with, because then it would be able to block. But the way it kind of worked out there, I didn't have anything that was able to block anyway, so kind of whatever. But once again, alright, we got our third land coming down, and I could sacrifice somebody. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and play this card. We do have another Shambling Ghoul, so let's see. That, however, is actually an instant, so, let me go ahead and continue for right now. And I'm just going to attack him with this, and we'll see if he wants to block or what he wants to do. Looks like he just wants to take the point. Alright, that's fine. What we will do then, excuse me, is now play Altar's Reap. So we have to sacrifice a creature, but we're going to sacrifice Shambling Goblin. And you guys know what happens when Shambling Goblin dies. Something gets -1/-1, which means this little guy right here that's in the air and it's going to be annoying to try to block, dies. So we're going to get 2 more cards. And we still have 1 excess mana, so we can go ahead and play another Shambling Goblin. And that'll be that. So what do we draw? There are 2 lands, so, not that useful cards to draw, maybe, but I guess we need to draw 1. And see, there you go. Now that thing's not going to be able to block. But, that's drawing through 2 more cards. That's 2 turns that I don't have to spend drawing land. So drawing cards are really good if you guys didn't know. Here, I think I will go ahead and make this trade, save myself the 2 damage, and go ahead and kill off. I'm actually going to use the opportunity. I could kill off this guy, but the flyer is a bit more annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and kill off the flyer with that -1/-1. However, it would be dealt with this one. Alright, so it looks like it doesn't matter anyway. It's just going to force out that enchantment, which is basically going to do not much except for save that creature's life. So, fair enough. Going to get a 4th land into play. And we can drop down 2 guys. Which 2 guys I want to drop down? We are definitely going to go ahead and swing in, I think, with the Shambling Ghoul. I don't think he's going to want to block that and lose his flyer guy. So far we have not taken any damage. And who do we want to put down? I probably want to put down the cat and probably Shambling Ghoul. This guy would be able to block this turn. He would go ahead and come back stronger. So I think I'm actually going to go with Butcher Ghoul, because he'll be able to block Glory Seeker, and then, as we saw with the Undying ability, he'd be able to come back stronger. And in fact, I could actually combo block if I wanted to. Shambling Ghoul would come into play and not be able to block for me, so me. So I'm going to hold on to this because you know, there might be some big gnarly creature that wants to come in. So let's actually combo block. We saw this happen in the last video where they did it to me, but I'm going to do it back to them. So just block it with 2/1/1, so there's nothing too high technical that's going to go on right here. Just going to be borrowing some other thing in their hand. Just going to be, so all of the things die, and then they got to discard a random card. Let's see what we nail. And we, ooh, nice. That is a nice card to get rid of. 5-drop for a 3/3, flying, first strike, and vigilance. So 3 nice abilities. First strike, I don't know if we've seen first strike. Basically, there's actually 2 steps to combat damage. There's the first strike time, and then there's the everything else time. Most things are the everything else. But for example, if this thing went up against another 3/3 that didn't have first strike, then it would get to go ahead and get its 3 damage in first, rather than both things swinging at the same time and hurting each other. So it would just go ahead and kill off the other thing before it actually got hit itself. So first strike is really nice. There's also another thing called double strike, where you actually deal damage at both times. So if you put any kind of a buff on that creature, then it gets to get double the benefit because it swings twice. So pretty nice. Pretty nice. So that worked out really well. Black Cat was able to get rid of a nice creature I did not want to have to deal with. So cool. Alright, so everything's tapped, and also as you see here, Butcher Ghoul came back, and now he came back as a 2/2, so we're going to attack with everything, and basically just seed the defense right now. I'll try to go on the attack as Shambling Ghoul is going to come and play tapped, but that's fine. So down to 1 card in hand, and hopefully we got rid of something that he really was looking forward to playing, and unfortunately there's an Angelic Edict, which is, I mean, it's gonna exile actually my Shambling Ghoul, which is relevant because now I can't revive it out of the graveyard with Cruel Revival. But I guess that's fine too. We're gonna keep swinging in because right now we have the edge and creatures, and they have no hand. So, and we have a removal spell. So cool. That we can do at instant speed whenever I want. So cool. Gonna swing in and actually gonna take that block, which will actually go ahead and kill off my my guy there, but we'll get rid of his last creature in play. So still got a Shambling Ghoul we're holding on to. And what is this guy? Banisher Priest. Well, that's a bit annoying, but what we're actually gonna do, so when this thing comes into play, it sort of slurps up my Butcher Ghoul there, so that's a bit irksome. But what we're actually going to do is, during their end phase, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, I want my guy back. So I'm going to use Cruel Revival, destroy that Banisher Priest right there, and let's go ahead and get back, Butcher Ghoul, because I feel like at this point the hand size has been depleted enough. I don't think there's going to be enough card draw that's really going to matter too much. So we get back into our turn, which means that because I did it at the end of their turn rather than waiting to this turn, Butcher Ghoul came into play tap, but then my untap happened during my upkeep, so good stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and play the Swamp, and then do we want to go ahead and draw some more cards? I think we do. So I'm going to play Butcher Ghoul, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually play Altar's Reap, and sacrifice Butcher Ghoul. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it right now, so we can see if we have anything else that we can play with this 3 mana. So he'll come back because of Undying. And then, well, we get through 2 more, that's 2 more swamps that I don't have to draw. That's how you gotta look at that. That's 2 turns, you know, maybe we'll get something besides a swamp on the next turn. So, there you go. Playing cards so that good stuff happens for you in the future. And there's another Banisher Priest. So, it's gonna once again take that guy. A bit annoying, but we got a 2/2 versus a 2/2, so if that ever gets traded, I get my guy back. So. And there's a Rise from the Grave, so that's actually going to allow me to jack somebody, which I think I'm going to go ahead and proceed to combat. And I'm going to go ahead and swing in. let's not use Rise from the Grave quite just yet. I severely doubt they're going to want to trade because that's going to give me a creature back. And barely they do not, so we'll go ahead and throw it out of the swamp. And let's Rise from the Grave. And I think I like this nice big 5-drop that Black Cat was able to get rid of. A little bit better than what I got in my graveyard. So now we got a nice... They have the voice of a zombie angel. And they also have a lot of other nice abilities that's going to generally make things not nice for the opponent. And they're probably not going to want to block. And unfortunately there's another Angelic Edict, so that's going to get rid of that. But they're not going to be able to bring it back either. So we may as well keep on swinging in because we have a massive advantage in terms of life total. And again, they're not going to want to block because that's going to be a trade, and then I would get my guy back. So actually they are. So just going to save the damage. It will come into play tapped, but that's going to be largely irrelevant since it won't be able to bring in anything. White generally does not have haste creatures, and it looks like they just have a land. So, which is fine because we have a land as well, and that makes 10 swamps. So hopefully, much like last game, Shambling Ghoul can just carry us to victory. If not, then we played a couple of draw spells, so that, you know, it's allowed us to draw through some cards that might not have been as useful as other stuff we could have drawn. But hey, that's why you play draw spells. So there's a Pacifism, which is going to curtail our efforts right here. Pacifism is, I believe, a fairly old card actually, but it's been around a while, I think. Pretty much just says it's reasonably cheap, and this is an enchantment that you would want to put on your opponent's creature, obviously. You can enchant, you know, unless it says specifically opponent creature your opponent controls or creature you control. You can put it on whatever you like, unless it has hexproof, of course. And yeah, so this completely neuters this guy. So we got 11 swamps. Not exactly what I would have liked to have seen, but you know, only so much you can do with the pre-constructed decks. So, you know, we're kind of both at the mercy of the top deck right now. And hey, they're, you know, not exactly doing so hot either. But here's a Crow, which we'll go ahead and play main phase 1 because we can. And I'm actually going to hold on to this swamp. There's really not much reason to play it. Now, if you were playing against an actual, like, human opponent, you know, you might not want to play the swamp, even though you can only play 1 land a turn. Well, why not just get as many in play as you can? Well, you know, it might be nice to kind of play a mind game and make him think, he's holding on to 1 card in his hand. I wonder what it could be. I know it's just a swamp, but, you know, maybe it's some nice thing. Alright, Emancipation Angel. Okay, so her ability is actually, it looks weird. It's like, why would I want to bounce that back to my hand? But, you know, there's various times, like maybe, for example, if I had that effect, I would bounce my Ghoul back to my hand, and then that would get the Pacifism off of it because the Pacifism would come off. Speaking of Pacifism, there's another one right there, and actually they use the ability, because even though it's on my creature, they still control Pacifism, so I was able to switch the target of the thing. So I will go ahead and play that land though, as long as we hold on to 1. And unfortunately, we kind of have the board locked up here, so I kind of need to wait until I draw out of this situation. I kind of need 1 more creature, because right now one of mine can't attack or block. At the same time though, she doesn't really want to attack with hers because that'll leave her defenses open to me. Once again, we're drawing land, so, you know, fine. You know, if I hadn't played all those draw spells, I would have still had about 4 swamps that I have to draw through before I can draw out of this bad situation. So, oh well. Hopefully we draw it before they do, and that's what we're gonna hope for right now. Looks like they're getting pretty land flooded too, and there we go. There's what we wanted to see. So Cruel Revival. Let's blow that up, and then I will also take, what do I want to take? Let's take Butcher Ghoul. Sure. Just take Butcher Ghoul, because at this point anything that they play is either going to be a land or something else that they're going to go ahead and play that turn. So let's thereby go ahead and we can swing in with you. And that'll get us halfway there. So board kind of got locked up there, and we were kind of at the mercy of the top deck, both of the sides, for a while. But thanks to us playing the draw spells, looks like we were able to draw out of it before they did, unless they drop some nice big bombshell right here. Which looks like it's not going to be anything that they want, at least not that they want to play this turn. And, alright, this is what I would call a bomb. So it's 6 mana, so that's quite a bit. Corrupt deals damage equal to number of swamps you control to target creature or player. Oh, and we get to suck up that much life, so just to make it as big as possible, I severely doubt that's a counter spell. Let's go ahead and use Corrupt, and of course we're going to target the opposing player, and it's going to deal how much damage? Like 14, so there you go. Sometimes you get flooded with mana, but it's not so bad because you draw Corrupt, so... And it also healed us, although that ended up to be irrelevant. So there you go. Got him at -12, so we did, what, 14 damage with that? Pretty nice. So, game kind of slowed down there at the end with the pacifism and, you know, both players being on top deck, but again, that's why you play draw spells, so you can get stuff going on. So Liliana apparently changed clothes or else just stole this nice little headdress from somebody, and poor Angel's over there getting marauded by zombies, so... Angels are nothing more than an annoyance to you. It does not escape you, however, that their attention is a testament to the power you have accumulated, but there's no more time for distractions. Now it's time to take on the Raven Man. So, I don't know where Liliana got this nice little gold thing that she's placed on her head, but apparently she thinks it looks nice. So, maybe it'll help her, like, style her hair? Is that what it's there for? So that she can have, like, nice little curls going on? Might be the case. So, while the Archangel gets taken down by a zombie horde, which makes me sad as someone who likes playing white and blue, but oh well. See you guys next time, where we will finally take on the Raven Man. Later days.